Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae,
Come on, come on.
with Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is
Trae.
the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to another Mindfulness Monday. That's right. It's the first Monday of March. And so that means Heru TchaasAmen is in the building to give us some mindfulness tips we can all use. And today is really exciting. We get to talk about all the work he's doing with the youth and how he's bringing mindfulness to them. So I'm excited that he is here to join us. And later on in the show, we got Jennifer Zeyl of Intiman Theatre, the artistic director. We're going to be talking to her about all of the work that she's doing and the amazing events they have coming up in March. So, of course, we have a great Monday for y'all, but it is the top of the show. So it's a perfect time for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and share this stream with folks who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness right here on the Day with Trae. If you can't watch our TV show, we still have you covered. You can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and the Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. Well, up next, y'all, we got Heru TchaasAmen back in the building right here in the Black Media Matter Studios once again for Mindfulness Monday. What's up, Heru? How are you?
Oh, you know me, I'm diviner and diviner every day, Trae. How are you?
Right on. You know what? I'm good. I woke up on this side of it, so it's always a good day.
Perpendicular.
Yeah, there we go. Well, you know, every first Monday of the month, we love to get into some mindfulness and appreciate you for coming on and sharing some insight. But you just recently wrapped up a great opportunity to be with the youth once again. And so I wanted to kind of talk to you about that experience and how you may have to make some adjustments for the younger minds as you practice mindfulness. Tell us about your connection to the Federal Way Public Schools.
Oh, definitely. It was a joy. It was a 6-week engagement with Saturday scholars. It was Saturday schools for voluntary Saturday schools. So they were learning about robotics and mindfulness, doing exercises, having some great interactions, learning about math, ESL, and things like that. So it was a volunteer Saturday school, unlike when I was in Saturday school, when I was involuntarily committed to Saturday school in high school. So we worked on mindfulness. We got to meditate. We got to do some Qigong. We worked with them around singing bowls. They had a great time with that. But some of the adjustments are for adults versus kids, because I was working with 5th graders and 8th graders, some very young kids, right? A lot of energy. A couple of them right after lunch. One of my sessions was right after lunch, and so people be really wound up. We had to get them to burn off some of that energy. So a lot of movement first. So we got some chi shaking and jumping and things like that. And then we did a lot of role play activities, mindfulness activities, imagining yourself super tall and super big, right? Bigger than the building so you can look down and your head is like by the stars and clouds. Then imagining yourself very, very small. And then bringing themselves back to the space and getting them to visualize, certain things they wanted to be in. We had one guy who was a wrestler. I was like, hey, imagine yourself in your wrestling matches and things like that. So really imagining them in the places where they were. Got to find out a lot about myself and my teaching habits too, The little girls were great. They sit there and be still. The dudes wanted to run around and play tag. So I had to go play tag with the boys, and I had to give the young girls something to do, like stand in Wu Ji while I chased these boys around. So it was crazy, but it was fun.
Well, it sounds like you're really bringing a different approach to the young ones, but also engaging them in the same practices that you do with any other class. When you talk about chi shaking, tell us a little bit more about that, because I've been in classes with you, and you've been like, yeah, you got to bounce, got to get your body kind of ready. Tell us a bit about what that's actually doing for our bodies.
Well, we're getting the chi that's stagnant in our body, the life force and energy that's kind of stagnant, and waking it up, kind of moving it around. Getting it ready to be worked with and manipulated, right? Or to release. So we might have some negative chi energy that we want to let go. We don't want to sit there stagnant. So we get to jumping around. First, I teach them to jump with their feet flat on the ground. But with the kids, I let them get off the ground too. We were lucky we had a gymnast area. So there's a springboard floor, for like floor activity. So they were jumping high. They loved it. They run around and jump, almost doing backflips and things like that. But it allowed them to then settle down. One of the amazing techniques that they really loved, though, was just breathing. I was surprised. We got them to breathe and practice breathing through their mouths. I've never done that with an adult class, so I had them pant. really hard, and things. And then I had them calm down and close their mouth and breathe and ask them, how does that feel? And they notice the difference. And you can feel the energy of the room shift just from the simple breathing techniques.
Yeah, this is something that I think, I have really taken to heart is the breath. And, my dad used to have me out. Oh, I love you, Father, rest in power. But he used to have me out, man, when we lived in the, student housing for UW. And he would have me run. We would run from the house. We would jog all the way past the UW stadium and across the bridge. Once we hit across the bridge, he was like, now you can take a rest. And then we go back. And I realized how much mouth breathing I was doing at that time when I started realizing the benefits of breathing through my nose. And we talked about breath a lot. So I love that the kids were really gravitating to that. It seems like it's such an essential part of mindfulness. And there's a lot of articles, a lot of studies that have been done on breath work. And so it's really great to hear that they gravitated towards it. When you think about the ways that you are looking forward to continuing to bring, mindfulness to young folks, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in terms of maybe other contracts or other opportunities you may have to continue these kinds of learnings for younger mindfulness practitioners?
Definitely. We'll continue with Federal Way. So I'll go there twice a year. We'll also branch out and return back to Skyway. So I love that space. There are a lot of Black and brown kids there. And then we've also implemented some chi squatting too. So we do squats, a lot of squats and chi squats. But yeah, just really staying committed and tacking into those children. Federal Way School District, obviously we're plugged in there, but also some outside activities where there's some basketball groups that are going on, some boxing groups and things like that. Some people that are practicing, martial arts, MMA and things, but they want to do some mindfulness beforehand. How do you bring yourself and center yourself before you get into the practice of doing hard chi in the violent area, in the martial type side of the house. So really getting into that space. I think it's very applicable inside of our school systems to have conversations about how do you be present in the moment. You're getting talked to and lectured and taught over and over again, but you're used to looking at your phones for 3 minutes at a time. So being focused long enough to actually ingest information and to be able to apply it to your life is important. So mindfulness helped with that. And we saw a lot of gains from interacting with the kids. So looking forward to continuing that, and getting down to Tacoma, back in my old stomping ground, moving back up into Seattle area as well. So we're going to stay committed to this work.
Well, thank you again for being here and giving us some tips we can all use. We always talk about breath work and this. So it's great to see that you're bringing all of this to young folks and to those younger practitioners, getting them engaged in the ways they can. Of course, you also take individual clients. Yeah. So I got to give you time to make sure folks know how they tap in. If they're trying to come to one of your free classes or get some one-on-one services, look right there, let them know how they tap in.
That camera right there?
That one right
all
there.
All right. You can find me mostly on Instagram, Heru Nefer, HeruNefer. Just DM me there, follow me there, click, subscribe, watch the stories and things like that, reach out. And we'll be bringing chi squats to adults. So we're going to get some workout in. We're going to take it to chi fitness. So step into that space with me. Keep breathing.
Oh, right on. Thanks so much. I'm looking forward to the chi fitness.
Yeah, gotta have it.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all, it's always great to start our first Monday off in the month with some mindfulness. And so I'm excited because we're actually going to continue to be mindful because Intiman Theatre is bringing some amazing events to us this March. Up next, we got Jennifer Zeyl in the building. We're going to be talking all about the amazing events and shows and performances that Intiman is bringing to the community. Y'all don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Seattle Opera presents X, the life and times of Malcolm X. The story of one of the most misunderstood figures in U.S. history comes to McCall Hall for an exceptional night at the opera. Pulitzer Prize-winning composer Anthony Davis produces an American classic with influences from classical music, jazz, pop, blues, and more. Don't miss X, the life and times of Malcolm X, February 24th through March 9th at McCall Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. See you guys in a few.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me now is Jennifer Zeyl with Intiman Theatre. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi,
Good to see you again.
it's wonderful to be here.
Yeah, well, this is exciting for me because I have been coming to the shows and y'all have been really pouring into the arts here in the city. Tell us a bit more about what y'all got going on for the month of March.
For the month of March, we run a campaign called Share the Love. And it's a peer-to-peer, it's a crowdsourced campaign. We're raising $50,000 for our 50th anniversary. But as part of the campaign, there are 3 events in March on Wednesdays, the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th, that basically discover the sort of intersection of the artist and the responsibility during a time of revolution. And so the first one on the 13th is focused on Chekhov and Gorky, who were writing right before the Russian Revolution in the early part of last century. And the second one is a reading of the play My Name is Rachel Corrie, which was created in 2003 after her murder in Gaza. Of compiling the writings of her journal. So Alan Rickman and Catherine Viner put together her writing into a solo show. And we're going to do a reading of that play and have a panel discussion afterwards with a bunch of local artists. Gabriel Teodros is coming. I'm on that panel. Jewish Voice for Peace is on that panel. And Hala, who's a Palestinian community weaver, is on that panel, and that's being moderated by our board member Farheen Ahmed. And then I think our third one is celebrating Langston Hughes. So Vivian Phillips, Art Noir, and Valerie Curtis Newton, who directs Black Nativity for Intiman, but also is the artistic director of Hansberry Project. They're going to be in conversation with a couple other panelists around Langston's work and how instrumental he was in the Harlem Renaissance and his writing and his poetry and plays.
Well,
Yeah.
such a great eclectic variety, right? That y'all are bringing. As the artistic director, tell us a bit about how pivotal your role is in selecting, what Intiman is doing and what y'all are bringing out to the community.
Yeah, it is a really, it is an interesting job. I mean, it's on paper, you're responsible for the selection and interpretation of works for the stage. That's really the kind of like the bullet list. But what that entails is a lot of listening, I think, to the community, listening for the silences, actually, for the stories that are not being told or are being passed over. So there are a number of events that I go to outside of the theater. I go to a lot of protests. I go to town hall. I go to a lot of talks, and I'm always kind of listening and hearing what's lighting people up and where there are knowledge gaps and information gaps. Our next production is a live telling of the story of Delbert's Traveling History Museum of the Unspoken Truth, Delbert Richardson's. So that's a perfect example of something that needed to meet another audience, an additional audience. Delbert does so much educational stuff, and he does so much, in artistic community. King Street Station, the collection was there a year and a half ago. And this will reach a totally new audience. And we have a bunch of schools coming in for our school matinees. It's directed by Steve Sneed, written by Vita Sneed. I mean, it's a really, really wonderful project that we've had under commission for about 3 years.
Wow, this is so great to hear. And also, too, what I love about Intiman is that y'all aren't bound in a way that I think when you think of a theater house, right? You think all they do is plays. That's all that, they have to fill a stage with stuff. But I love that y'all actually can bring different types of works of art out into the community. How important is that to Intiman?
It's essential. It's essential. I mean, we're seeing folks' capacity for sitting in a chair and like having art like made at them kind of diminish. I mean, folks for whom that is their thing, there's attrition in the ranks, you know what I mean? And honestly, I think that in order for theater to survive, it really needs to adapt. And it needs to be less monodirectional. It needs to be essential to its community that it's saying that it serves.
Well, I think that's also what's so important too, is about the diversifying of stories. I've talked about this several times when different shows come and how they're showcasing another area of life that maybe I'm not accustomed to, or maybe I am, but I'm just not used to like stories that are connecting with me being told on big stages. But that's so important to be able to actually reflect the community that you're in. And I think Intiman is doing such a great job of that. How do you as an artistic director really keep that afloat as y'all think about what the next project is that y'all are going to do? Because that level of diversity is always in the work that y'all are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I really think about what I'm thinking about right now as I'm planning next year is how many opportunities I've seen disappear for early career artists. That's kind of at top of my list. All of the sort of stepping stones, we have a lot of great arts training programs where we're taking young people's money in order to help them develop a skill set. But the immediate pathway that was available for me when I was finishing my studies, it's just not there anymore. There aren't these like smaller showcases, things like, 5 minutes max, 12 minutes max, just to have some of these artists just like get something out in the world and be able to engage with response. So that's actually what Wesley, my managing director, and I are working on right now, creating a place for emergence and incubation.
I appreciate hearing that, because you're absolutely right. I think back to, even for me, I got the opportunity to stage manage when I was a senior in high school, like a major production, Raisin in the Sun. Awesome. And I'm telling you, it really changed, I think, my perspective of the ways that I saw myself in the arts, and in production. And, it was beyond theater production, because I just realized that so much of the skills that I was honing in on in that role then to play into how I produce a piece now. Yes. So you're so right about that. The opportunities to bridge the gap for young artists, and those who are really serious about understanding this as a career, they have to be exposed to it. So I really love that y'all are doing that, and that you have the foresight to say, this is what's on our hearts and we want to fill that space. Kudos to you, Jennifer. I'm always excited to have my theater folks in the building, because I get all giddy about the things that are happening in the theater space. Of course, if people are wanting to connect more with Intiman Theater, wanting to support what y'all are doing, please look right there and let them know how they connect.
Well, Intiman.org/love will get you the full listing of our March events as part of the Share the Love campaign. And we also have an Associate of Arts degree at Seattle Central College in Technical Theater for Social Justice. So please take a look at that if you're a young person considering the technical, producing, stage managing, lighting arts as a possible future.
Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me today. A pure pleasure.
Yay.
Wow. Y'all, I'm telling you, this Monday is getting us off to a great start for the week. I'm going to wrap all of this up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Seattle Opera presents X, the life and times of Malcolm X. The story of one of the most misunderstood figures in U.S. history comes to McCall Hall for an exceptional night at the opera. Pulitzer Prize-winning composer Anthony Davis produces an American classic with influences from classical music, jazz, pop, blues, and more. Don't miss X, the life and times of Malcolm X, February 24th through March 9th at McCall Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I got to give a huge shout out to my guest today, Heru TchaasAmen, always getting us started on this first Monday of the month with some mindfulness practices. It's great to hear how he's bringing mindfulness to some young practitioners and going to continue to do so, and also moving into Chi Fitness. I'm sure we'll be talking about that real soon. And also a huge shout out to Jennifer Zeyl for being here with Intiman Theatre. You know, it's important for us to find a way to embrace the arts in all of its forms. And I love that Intiman is unboxed in their own perspective of how to bring arts out into our community. Make sure you tap in with their Share the Love campaign at intiman.org/love. Make sure you are being a part of it and going to these amazing events, because really, people, you will not be disappointed with what you get from these events. There's a lot of work that's put in behind the scenes. So I'm glad that she was here to give us a little bit of a glimpse of that. But of course, y'all know I'm just inspired by what my guests here shared today. I want you to be inspired, because no matter what it is, you too can be a part of the solution. And for me, until tomorrow at 11 a.m., y'all, peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.